Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Josiah and I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't planning to make this video, but I decided to go ahead because I've been kind of thinking about something. See, my last video was a shorts video. I did a couple shorts videos and my latest shorts video got almost 1,000 views when I last checked, which is just insane because I've been getting, 18 to 30 views per video every time I upload one, and then suddenly here I am at a shorts video getting almost 1,000 views. I've gotten several new subscribers, which is kind of crazy and exciting. And I'd like to thank all of you who have watched my videos, who are coming. I know there are a whole bunch of new viewers to my channel. If you're new, welcome. Hope you enjoy it. If you've been to the channel before, welcome back. Hope you enjoy it. But yeah, so that said, one of the things I've been thinking about recently, I've been thinking about something I really try to keep in mind whenever I'm teaching magic, whether it's here on YouTube or to a family or friend or whatever. And it's an idea. It's kind of a variation of a quote by, I believe, magician Dai Vernon. I might be wrong about this, but there were 5 essential things that a magician needs, and I changed one of them. But these are the essential things I think every magician should know. And a lot of them were included in the original quote. However, this is kind of the way I think about it. Every magician needs to know, these are the beginner, basic, foundational things that every magician needs to know before, getting into the more advanced stuff. They need to know how to control a card. They need to know how to force a card. They need to know how to do a double lift. They need to know how to do a card switch. And they also need to know how to do a color change and a palm. So really, I have 6 things rather than 5 like the original quote. So running over that again, I have card control, card force, double lift, card switch, color change, and palm. So if we think about that, you think about what I've taught so far on the channel. I taught card control. I've taught a card force. I've taught a couple of both of those. That brings us to the next one. That's a double lift. I've taught a double lift. I've actually taught 2 double lifts on the channel. One I dedicated an entire video to. It was my first video, and honestly wasn't that great. But if you go check that out, that's pretty cool. But then we also have a card switch, which I haven't necessarily taught much of a card switch. I can't remember if I've taught the top change or not. I don't think I have. But I definitely taught the double lift, which that can be used as a card switch. I've taught a color change. I've taught the Erdnase color change. And in my shorts video, the first shorts video I uploaded, Change the Color of the Card, I taught the shake color change, or the twirl change, as some magicians like to call it. And that brings us to the final one. A card palm. This is one I have not taught yet on the channel, and that's what this video is all about. Because, and especially I've been thinking about it since I've been flooded with a whole bunch of new viewers, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to get off on the right track. I want to teach you how to properly palm a card. Now, a disclaimer before we get into this. A lot of magicians make the excuse that, oh, my hands are too small. I can't palm cards because my hands are too small. My hands are built right. My fingers are crooked. That has nothing to do with it. Because I have relatively small hands, okay? I don't have super huge hands. And, like my index finger and my pinky finger, they both are actually crooked, like they're bent. But I can still palm a card quite comfortably, freely, and I palm cards all the time. So, it doesn't matter necessarily the size of your hands. I mean, if you do have hands that are smaller than a poker-sized playing card, obviously it's going to be hard to palm, but there are other palms that you could do besides that. And then, of course, having crooked fingers, that has nothing to do with it. I have fingers that are kind of crooked, and I can still palm cards quite comfortably. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Alright, for this tutorial, I'm going to be using the Red Monarch playing cards. These are really cool. I've already used the Purple Monarchs on this channel before, but I'm going to use these Red Monarchs. Actually, fun fact, in case you didn't know this already, I actually have used the Red Monarchs on the channel. And whenever you see the intro that I made, I actually made that intro using these Red Monarch playing cards. Yeah, just a fun fact. Alright, so getting right into this, I'm going to start by showing you kind of the basic mechanics of palming a card. So there are a lot of magicians who do palming a card improperly. So we're just going to grab a card and we're going to get into it. So I'm going to use, well, I'll just grab the Ace of Spades for demonstration purposes. You can grab any random card, and this is how we're going to start palming a card. So, a lot of people, they do this when they palm a card. When they palm a card, they get the card into their hand, and then they curl their fingers in like this, and they just hold the card there like that. Okay, first off, this doesn't look natural at all. This looks, you're clearly holding something in this hand when your fingers are curled like that. And second of all, it leaves a bend in the card that is clearly obvious, so that it's kind of obvious that you've palmed a card. So, here's how you're actually going to palm a card. Start by holding your hand out flat. We're not going to worry about the actual palming of the card. We're just going to focus on the actual position of the card in your hand. Lay a playing card in your hand. Now, if you have hands that are smaller, like you're a young person, yes, hands that are smaller than a poker-sized playing card, that's okay. My hands are just larger than a poker-sized playing card. But if you have hands that are smaller, that's okay. You can just you can try and follow along so that when your hands get big enough, you can palm cards comfortably. And then you can also use the Gambler's Cop technique, which I'll leave a link to a video down below that teaches the Gambler's Cop really great, which you can actually do if you have really small hands. But I want to focus on the classic palm because that's my personal favorite. Alright, so basically what you're going to do, you're going to place this card in your hand like this, with your hand outstretched flat. You're going to take the top left-hand corner of the card. And I know the angle is kind of weird because the tripod's looking down from forward on my hands. So basically from behind, if I show you this, you're going to hold your hand out flat like this. You're going to place the card in your hand, and you're going to want to put this top left corner, this top left index corner, against this fleshy tip of my pinky. This is that's the same part that you would use to hold a pinky break. In Card Magic, you're going to put that corner there. And the other corner should be right down here in this base area of your thumb where it's just kind of fleshy a little bit. And that's where the card should be in your hand. Now, if you kind of press in just slightly with your pinky, you should find that without help from any of your other fingers, you shouldn't be using any of your other fingers, 3 fingers, and without help from your thumb here, you should be able to have these 3 fingers and your thumb outstretched, and between this fleshy base part of your thumb and that little fleshy part of your pinky, you should be able to hold a playing card there and shake your hand around, and the card should still be able to stay there. That's palming position. You shouldn't be curling your fingers in to hold it there. The card should be held in place simply by force of your pinky against this base part of your thumb. Your thumb isn't holding it there. Your index finger isn't holding it there. Your middle finger isn't holding it there. Your ring finger isn't holding it there. None of these fingers or thumbs are holding it there. Your pinky is the only finger actually doing any work to hold a palmed card in place. That's the big thing that so many people get wrong when they palm cards. They think it's some kind of curvature. They think you gotta curve your hand somehow. They think you gotta hold your thumb in like this. No. I just dropped the card. Anyway, no. It's literally just using your pinky finger to pressing in against this base part of your thumb, and that's palming position. That's what's gonna hold the card in place when you're palming a card. So, once you've been able to hold a card comfortably in this position, we're going to move on to the classic palming position. Basically, what you're going to do is you're now going to close your hand, keep that curvature with your pinky, and if you close these fingers just like this, you should now find that you can palm a card. Now, in this case, sometimes you get something like this where it's coming out the corners. That's okay. But palming position, if you use that part of your pinky against this part of your thumb, you should find that a card should be able to be palmed in your hand. And with your fingers closed, that's palming position. Now, when you first start this, your thumb's going to want to come here. Your fingers are going to want to curve down. Fight against that. Now, in this case, my fingers, I like to keep my fingers kind of naturally curved, and that's okay. And your thumb might be kind of close to your hand like this. Try to keep it out. Don't stretch it out too far so it's unnatural, but try to keep it in a natural position. Sorry if you hear my brothers in the background, by the way. They are playing a video game, as is typical when I'm filming, so that just happens. But basically, if your pinky's holding it there, your fingers are closed, your thumb's outstretched, what you should find is that don't try to use tension. If you just relax your hand, just keep your hand in a relaxed position, all your fingers, let your hand kind of relax, you'll find that you can look quite natural while holding a palmed card. Okay, so a couple of ways you can get around when you're first starting out. Now, obviously, you don't want to be holding your hand here. Some natural positions you could hold your hand in to cover this palmed card are that you could rest your hands on the edge of the table. That's a natural position to have a palmed card in. You could also rest your hands on your lap. That can also help. If you're standing up, you can just dangle your hands by your side. If you do that, however, don't hold your hands still. Allow your hand to naturally swing. Don't be, this, but just allow your hand to naturally swing like this, okay? So it's a really great, it's really easy to do. One more tip I would have for you is that when you're classic palming a card, if your fingers are relatively small like mine, you can actually shift the card back just slightly, so that rather than holding it with the fleshy part of your pinky, you're kind of holding it almost, but not quite at the knuckle of your pinky, okay? It's the same, your pinky makes the same motion, it feels basically the same, but it does allow you to better hide that card when you're palming, and that's kind of my palming position. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for comfortably and properly classic palming a card. You're just using your pinky against this fleshy base of your thumb to hold a card there, just like so. Alright, so congratulations! You can now comfortably classic palm a card with the mechanics of the grip, basically. What I meant to say was, you now know the mechanics of gripping a card in classic palm position. It's super natural, basically just utilizing the natural curvature of the hand. It's nothing, there's no pressure, there's barely any pressure involved, really, with it. I almost said there was no pressure. There is pressure, it's not that much though, and it's only from your pinky. Just a slight pressure into this part of your thumb. It shouldn't hurt, and it shouldn't give that card too much of a bend, and just utilizing that natural curvature of your hand, that's basically how you classic palm a card. So, now that you know the mechanics of it, how do we get into classic palm position? There are several different ways to do it. All the ways I'm going to be showing you today are top palms, meaning that you palm the card from the top. There are other methods from the middle, from the bottom, but those are all a bit more advanced, and I'll save those for another time. So let's start with the two-handed top palm, which is the easiest method probably for getting a card into classic palm position. So, the card you want to palm is on top, just like this. The way you're going to palm it is you're going to come over with your hand, okay? Now, here's the deal. You want to justify this action when you do your trick. So, one thing I do a lot, I dribble cards a lot when I'm doing tricks. So, I utilize that dribble a lot with my things. For instance, I use that dribble to get key cards, and, other things. And this is one of the things I use it for. So, I justify the action of coming over by dribbling the cards and then having to square up the cards, and that's how I justify the action, typically, of coming over with this hand. You could also use misdirection as well, but try and justify the action at least, even if you are using misdirection. So, you're going to come over with this hand, and you're going to put it right here, and you're going to hold it in regular, traditional billow grip, so not with the finger curled, but with all four fingers on top, but it's going to be kind of to the side like this, and you're going to be holding it in mechanics grip at the same time. So you end up in something kind of like this. So you're going to come over like this. What you're going to do from here is you're going to use your thumb to push over this card just like this. And what you do is you're going to push it over so that it comes onto your pinky like this. Now if you push on a card's corner with your pinky, you'll find that the card actually will pop right up like this. And you want to allow that card to pop up into a classic palm position. So if you do it like this, you'll find that you'll be able to comfortably get it into a palm position. So basically from the back, what you're doing is you're literally just coming over here and you're literally just pushing it over and putting it in palm position like that. You're literally just getting it into palm position like that. And this is the two-handed top palm, and it's a really easy technique to get a card into a classic palm position. Alright, this next method is one I use interchangeably with the first one, the two-handed top palm. This method here that I'm about to teach you used to be my preferred method. Since then it's changed. Typically, whatever the situation calls for, that's what I use. So if the situation calls for a two-handed top palm, that's what I'm going to use. If it calls for this one, that's what I'm going to use. So, since the last one was called two-handed top palm, obviously this one is going to be the one-handed top palm. And it's honestly the most difficult one by far, because you're literally going to be palming a card while holding the deck in one hand. I'm not too super great at it. I used to do it all the time, so I was super good at it then. I'm not so amazing at it now, so I'm going to try and teach it as best as I can, but keep in mind, all the links to some more in-depth tutorials for each of these will be in the description. So, basically, we're going to utilize that same idea of pushing up with our pinky to get a card into position. But this time, what we're going to do is we're going to be using, doing it with just one hand rather than two. So, this is going to work best teaching it more from the back, so I'm going to come back here to teach it. So, looking at this, what you're going to do, you're going to start by holding the deck in traditional biddle grip. So, all four fingers here on top, thumb at the back. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to bring your pinky up here, and I'm going to kind of show you an exposed view of this. You're going to put your pinky on the corner of this top card, just the very, very corner, and you're going to push up with your pinky, okay? And keep in mind, this is going to take a lot of practice to get down, but you're just going to push with your pinky, and what it's going to cause that top card to slide to the side just a tiny bit, okay? You're going to push, and then once it clears, and basically the idea is that as you push forward, you're going to push down with your pinky, so that what happens is that it's going to clear your thumb, and then it's going to pop up into position. And I'm not sure what's wrong with this deck, why I'm palming two cards at the same time, but it just looks like that. So you're just pushing with your pinky forward, and you're going to push down at the same time, and what's going to happen is it's going to clear your thumb, and you're going to get it into palm position. Now, a couple of things to note with this. First off, you're going to have to experiment with the placement of your thumb. So you might put your thumb in the middle. I don't do that. Personally, I put my thumb on the corner, and that's kind of on the corner. That's kind of what I find works best for me to get into palm position. You might also experiment with whether it's straight up and down, on its side, something like that. And also your thumb's pressure. You want to think, okay, do I want to apply a lot of pressure with my thumb, or am I just going to lightly hold the deck with my thumb? Okay, so really, this one, you kind of have to experiment for yourself. You think, okay, the goal is to use my pinky to push that card forward and pop it up into the palm position. How am I going to get there? So basically, you just have to experiment with the placement of your fingers, and especially the placement, position, and pressure of your thumb on the back of the deck, and that's what's really going to allow you to do this palm. Alright, so, one final thing before you leave. For those of you who are especially new to palming and you're still practicing, if there's a trick you want to do involving palming a card, a great way that's super easy to do, this requires misdirection, but basically if you push the top card forward and you use your pinky, once again, pushing down, it can pop right up into palm. And it's crazy how well it works. And you just get into palm that way. So that's just an extra little method in case you want to, in case you're new to it and you really just want something you can do real quick while you're practicing some of the true, really best techniques to use for palming a card. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So let's just go to the outro. Alright, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I hope you all will enjoy this channel. I know this last video, I'm still overwhelmed by the amount of views I got on this last video. Apparently people like cards levitating out of the pack. But yeah, if you are one of the many new people to this channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. You can check out any of my past videos on my channel page. You can also subscribe and stay tuned for the more videos coming in the future. For those of you who have recently subscribed, thank you so much. It just feels amazing because I had 12 subscribers that were pretty much all family. I'm pretty sure they were all family, actually. Except for maybe like one or two. And then, you know, I went up to 21 subscribers, which, I get it, it's not a lot of subscribers compared to a lot of other people out there, but it's kind of crazy to think that, you would subscribe to me just so you can see me make more videos. And one more thing, I know I'm just kind of like overwhelming you with my overwhelming of gratitude for the amount of views and subscribers I've gotten, but I want you to think about it this way. Imagine you are running a race and you still have a long way to go, you don't have that many fans, you run just a little bit more, then you turn around and suddenly the entire stadium is filled with fans, okay? That's kind of how I feel right now about this YouTube, because it just exploded, and it's crazy how many people, like, it's crazy that almost 1,000 views and, you know, over 500 people is what YouTube tells me are here that are new to my channel, which is just crazy. Alright, and that is really it, so I'll see you in the next video. See ya.